Hello, everyone. Welcome to our Practical Thursday. Okay, and today this is week 4, the end of the week 4, right? I want to kick off our project. Okay, like I promised, well, I will give you a guided project. I will show you how I start very beginning from scratch, okay, how to start a project. So that will be the topic for today, okay? And in addition to that, well, basically three things. Number one, how to frame a spatial question, okay? Let me maybe annotate. It's actually very important, okay? How to start a GIS project, okay? 3 steps. Number one, frame a spatial question, okay? Well, what is a spatial question? You did that already in week 1, in your discussion, in your assignments, right? That it must be a question about our space, For example, you can ask, I know James wants to map out the air pollution regarding to our fire, right? So you see on purple air, well, you see, let me pull out purple air. Maybe now it's better. Purple air. Let's go to LA. Okay, all right. Now you see a different pattern, right, over the space. So basically, when we see the data, when we want to map out something, your data, at least one data layer in your data set should be related to the space. Okay, should be related to space. So that phenomenon, for example, air quality, where you have bad air, where you have better air, right? And then how they, spread out, lay out over the space, geographic space. So that kind of question is the spatial question. You can answer by using GIS. Okay, so that is number 1 step, frame a spatial question. For example, well, you have the air quality. Next question, another spatial question you could ask, okay, how people, how they affect people living nearby. So for example, who live in the area with bad air quality all year long? Okay, who live in places with good air quality, okay? And what is, do they have health insurance? In the past, years, do they have, for example, some asthma-related, hospital visits, something like that, right? So that is a question about the space, okay? All right. Oh, let me go to Google. Okay, for me, let's see, for me, well, maybe just here, okay? For me, number 1 step, my spatial question is about this, about the urban oil fields in LA, okay? How I get that idea? You probably have the same question. Jing, I know what spatial question is, but I have no idea what I want to map out, okay? Well, take your time, okay, to find the time to search out. Okay, for example, that day, I like YouTube, I like Google, I found this article about urban oil fields of Los Angeles. And I see those. I remembered when I have had my few trips, around in LA, in many places, I came across with those, oil pumps here and there. This picture, strike me hardly. I'm like, wow, what's this? It's amazing. So this is a forest of oil direct sprouts on the, in Long Beach. Okay, and this is, by our ocean. Okay, Huntington Beach, I think. Oh, Venice. And this is, just next to people's house. Okay, and this, where it is. It's in Culver City, right? The Baldwin Hill? No, not Baldwin Hill, right? Yes. And Inglewood. I need my coffee. And here is just next to a McDonald's. You can see it's everywhere. Well, when you look down to LA, this giant area, actually those oil fields just like our neighbors, Okay, some of them are well covered, like this one. Where it is? Oh, it's not there. It's this one. I found this map. It's just like our story map. Okay, some of them are well covered, like this one. It's a giant pumpkin in where Phillips 66 oil refinery. And this one have a huge national flag. Okay, and some of them, they're beautiful. If you go to Santa Barbara, you probably see more. Okay, and here, yes, and Hunter shared this, the Center of the Land Use Interpretation also did a great exhibit and tour of oil in LA. Later, I'm going to check it out. Yeah, there's even oil wells in the places, yes, like Beverly Hills, but that's exactly the key, Patrick. That is, in Beverly Hills, they're well covered, but not everywhere. So next thing I found online is this video. I share with you, let me go to our class. Okay. Let me clear my drawings. Okay, so here above your labs, I have this web page, okay, to share with you my thoughts on this question, okay, how I frame this question. Let's see, open it. All right, okay, so this video, okay, CBS video, and then let's watch on YouTube. Oh, sorry. I need to stop share. I need to share with you through the sound. Share the screen. Computer sound. Otherwise, we'll be very, very low.
It looks like a decent enough place to live, a cozy two-story downtown apartment near the University of Southern California. But walk around the corner and you find this. So close you can see, you can touch the window and the wall at the same time. Beyond this wall, an oil drilling site.
We thought it was a construction site for a long time because we didn't know that this sort of thing happened. But I guess there's oil here?
Yeah, there's oil. Los Angeles is home to the largest urban oil field in the country. There are almost 800 active wells in the city of Los Angeles and almost 4,000 in LA County. It's one of the things that surprised me most when I moved to LA, not just how many pump jacks there were in the city's core, but how close they were to people's homes. Drive a little further and you end up here in this beautiful park. Widen out the shot, there they are, moving rhythmically like giant metronomes. In this area in South LA, there are almost 100 wells, on average 2 tennis court lengths away from residential neighborhoods. Behind this wall, there's a slant drilling operation right across from houses there, and as you can see, right next to a baseball diamond. Maya Golden-Krasner from the Center for Biological Diversity came out to meet me near one of the jacks, meters away from this guy's cookout.
Recently, we compiled data from the state of California and discovered that a lot of California's oil is particularly dirty. and in fact, in some places, is dirtier and more energy intensive even than Canadian tar sands. And drilling itself has huge impacts. It can release hydrogen sulfides. Those can cause burning lungs, nausea, nosebleeds, dizziness. It releases benzene and other similar chemicals that are carcinogens.
¿Quieres a sponge? Okay.
It's so hot inside I'm sweating, but Alexis Camilla has kept her windows closed for about 6 years, ever since she first smelled it.
¿Cómo huele?
Son olores tan fuertes.
The odor is so strong, she says, they try to perfume it with the smell of fruit or other things. We suffer a lot from headaches. It's contaminated air. From up here on the roof, you can see it, a drilling site that for years, neighbors say, made them sick.
Maybe about 5 times I was to the hospital because I have a lot of headache.
To find out why, I go back to that first site in downtown LA and meet up with community organizer Nikki Wong.
Right behind this gate, you know, not 20, 30 feet from bedroom windows, and there's no local notification to neighbors that this extremely toxic, corrosive substance is coming into close proximity to them.
Wong recently published a review of studies that examined the health effects of drilling sites.
There's a lot of evidence for chronic exposure to toxins contributing to long-term significant health issues.
The companies will say, well, we test the air, you know, there are no, adverse effects being found.
A lot of their standards for emissions, those limits were really set for worker safety. It doesn't consider people who live next to the site 24/7.
You notice something else when you visit these urban drilling sites. Take this downtown neighborhood. It has the second lowest household income levels in the city. 70% of the residents are non-white.
It's a very clear races.
Go west, she tells me, to the richer areas. So I do, starting in Beverly Hills. Unlike the downtown ones, this drilling site is totally covered. The next one is even better disguised. First I couldn't find it, but you can see it there. It just looks like an office building, no windows. The entire pumping operation is totally hidden, so it's not an eyesore. And as you can see, it's totally enclosed, so it prevents pollution. Big difference. A report by the NAACP released this week found that African Americans are exposed to 38% more polluted air than white Americans because so many of them live so close to oil and gas operations. And then there are the leaks. So right next to these houses, there's a pump jack here you can see, and just last week, residents found bags of dirt soaked with oil, evidence of a 6,000-liter spill, which wasn't disclosed by the operator, and you can still smell the oil. Now, the city of Los Angeles is studying new regulations, a mandatory 760-meter buffer between oil production and homes, schools, parks, and churches. But here, for instance, when we can see it right across the street, that wouldn't be possible. You'd have to shut this one down, for instance.
Yeah, they need to shut down.
And that's the problem. The oil pipes and jacks are like roots and branches in this city. Authorities predict that the buffer would shut down 90% of the city's oil production. Industry advocates say that would kill a potential oil boom, since Los Angeles is sitting on one of the richest shale oil reserves in the U.S.
If the city of LA and the state of California, really props itself up as climate leaders in the country, I think this will be a real important sort of testing ground for if we're going to actually uphold that.
Back at the downtown site, McCandless is heading out to yoga before her classes. She still doesn't know what to make of what's happening feet from her bedroom, beyond the wall.
At this point, we're not sure, and we're also not sure how long we'll be living here, so...
¿Qué vamos a colorear?
But for Camilla, moving would be too expensive. Her only hope, she says, that buffer the city's debating, which would push this operation out of her neighborhood for good.
Lo que quiero que se escuche nuestra voz.
I hope they listen to our voices, she says, and that officials will help us in our battle. Until then, she says, they'll have to play indoors and keep their windows closed. Kim Brunhuber, CBC News, Los Angeles.
Okay, guys, this is the video. I can see, oh, sorry, let me close that. Okay, this is the video inspired me. on my project. And I can see, well, for the first time, we have 20 input in our chat box. I can see you guys just like me, so passionate to answer this question by using GIS, right? I can see a lot of people here say, definitely it's environmental racism. And there's a thing in the standard Beverly Hills, the football field, and so many things. I'm going to read it later. Okay, but that is the thing, guys. I see this video, I read a lot of articles, I feel passionate about something, okay? Because I want to first map things out. That is the number one type. Let me share the screen with you. What can be a spatial question, right? Okay, share the screen. Okay, number one, annotate spatial questions. Answer. Where things are. Okay, where things are. So in this case, where things are would be what? Where are those oil fields, right? Okay, and another spatial question where things are is who live nearby? Who live there, right? Who live there? For example, our neighborhoods, okay? And the next type of the spatial question you could ask is how different things, okay, different spatial phenomena are related to each other over geographic space. So how they are related, you know, over geographic space. So for example, one oil fields, who live nearby, right? In Beverly Hills, that's different people, right? In South Central, that's different people, okay? And you can also ask the characteristics of the people living there. For example, what's the ethnic groups? Then that will be the environmental racism, okay? And maybe the age, maybe how many schools, right? Or if you watch carefully, you catch that information in the video, there actually is a regulation already, right? From those residential area, if you draw a buffer, so for example, let me draw. So this is, for example, this is the residential area. If you draw a buffer, 700 feet or meter, I didn't catch that part, okay? You cannot build any of those oil pumps. Let me draw oil pumps like this. No, absolutely no. But do they follow? Do they respect those regulations? Have the local government cleaned up all this, illegal oil drilling, right? I want to find out. Okay. As for the impact on people, you can see it's also a spatial relationship, right? Well, those people living near, very close to those oil pumps, right? Do they have health insurance? What's the income level? How many schools, right? How many schools are nearby? So all these kind of questions, we can use GIS to answer, okay? Is that clear, guys? How you frame the question, you can see all of, immediately you have so many questions you want to ask. You can use GIS to address. Okay, let me see in the chat box. Okay, let's see. Right, yes, that's a very complex social, economic, and also justice, environmental justice issue. Yes, okay, and we can use a lot of maps to answer this question. Okay, yeah, so you have this question. Let me pause for a second. Do you have any other question how to frame a spatial question? You could ask homeless, for example. You could ask, I know, well, here, another thing they don't have the very clear regulation is the nuclear, the radiation. You know, last year or year before, we have wildfire in the valley. I think it's a laboratory. They have this nuclear dump long time ago. And EPA show people there's no problem there. But after the wildfire, the burning, we detect the radiation out. So that is another thing you could map out. Yes. Okay. And for Kala, I know you work for sustainability. You probably also have a lot of topics about the sustainability, environmental issues in LA. So all these things you can map out. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Are we, Professor, I have a question. Are we
Yes.
focusing, do you want us to focus on LA as a city, or are we picking anywhere?
Anywhere,
Or,
anywhere you want, anywhere you want. Yep. So Patrick says there have been a handful of cases where small communities won against big corporation polluting their area, but sadly those cases are far and in between. Well, I can see we have a lot of idea, right? Later down this under this guided project, this module, I'm going to start a new discussion board, and you can contribute ideas. Okay, and if you have any other ideas you want to questions you want to ask, you can post that there. Okay, very good. All right. Okay, so this is the first thing. Okay, basically two types of questions you can ask: where things are and how they related. Okay. Oh, forgot to set the third thing. The pattern. The pattern is sort of like related to the first one. Okay, what's the spatial pattern? Okay, where's the high, where's the low, and how they change over the space. Okay. All right, so let me clean my drawings. Okay. Then you have this, question. You want to answer this question, right? So the number one is you want to find the data. Okay, so how to find the data? I asked Professor Google. Professor Google gave me first, this, curved LA, this map. It's interesting, and you can see I have, a few spots, but I don't believe this data set. It just showed me just a few. But it's a cool presentation, guys. It's a cool presentation. And remember last time I shared with you the story map, you can use one template called tour story map to, build the same thing. I know Lauren wants to do this, right? In our cartography class. Well, when you have some description on one side, and you can, automatically move your map to a certain area, right? And also you can click on this push pin, and you can read some, descriptions about this spot. Okay, this is a very cool presentation. But in terms of data, I don't think it's a good data source. Okay, so I gave up, but it's a cool presentation. Let me close this. Okay, so where to find the data? Where to find the data? Okay, well, earlier before you guys came, Candice and I, we were chatting about the data set. We are so lucky to live in United States, actually. We should be proud. Our government, including the federal and state government, they share the data, but not everywhere. For example, in my country, in China, a lot of data you don't have the access. Okay, but in United States, if your mapping area is about certain place in the US, there are several places you can search. Okay, for example, for Los Angeles County, actually for any county in any state, I would say 99% of the county, they have this GIS data portal. Okay, so that is the county level data. County level data. So if you open this link, you can see that day, okay, you can open this website and you can do a search. Let's see, where's my search box? Oh, on the top, sorry, it's covered here. Okay, you can do a search here for any data you want. So for example, I want oil and gas. See, immediately it's pop up, right? Remember, oh, well, it's indicate it's a very, very serious issue our county also consider about. So you can go here, let's see, locations. I think this one will be the most recent, okay? So if you go there, okay, so you can see the counts and locations of oil and gas wells in LA County. Yesterday, I'm like, voila, I don't have to go to the Department of Conservation to download data for the entire states and process the data by myself. You can just directly get the data over here. So that is the one data set I downloaded, okay? So for county level data, you go here, LA County Open Data, the GIS portal. Same thing for any city. LA City also have their GIS hub, okay? GIS hub. Santa Monica, all the cities, they have the GIS portal or GIS hub. You just need to, search on Google, okay? All right, so this is one type of the data source at the county level, okay? The state level, you know we have a lot of departments, right? Specifically for this project, this topic about environment, about our land, you go to Department of Conservation. Okay, I know Candice wants to do this to map out the geologic hazards and the landslide, okay, in LA, and also for LA County. You go here, Department of Conservation. Later, I also want to map out how far they are to our school. So I need the school data, right? I searched here, open LA County GIS data portal. I couldn't find it. Earlier, there is a very old data set. It's 2012 about the public schools only in LA. So I'm thinking, no, I don't want to use that data. Okay, it's too old and just public school. So I went to California Department of Education. Okay, come on. Okay, so you can see here, I have here, let's see, data downloads. Okay, when you are at those websites, okay, try to find the keyword data downloads. Okay, and you will find those files. So you can see those are public schools and district data files and private school data files. So I was able to download both private school location and the public school location for my project. That's that's the highlight for my day yesterday. Okay, I'm so excited. Okay, later let me show you. I downloaded already. Okay. All right, and I also want to map out people who live there, income level, health insurance, education, right? These type of things. Well, then that's your friend. We have a lab on this, right? For Practical Thursday on this, how to download the data from US Census Bureau. Okay, make sure you watch the video if you forget how to do that, okay? US Census Bureau. So I go there to search for data about education, income, health insurance, so many things, okay? And if really you cannot find the data, our national level, you have this data.gov. This search engine is just like the Google search, okay? You can find any data. For example, I want to find watershed. Okay, watershed in, for example, Louisiana. Watersheds. How to spell Louisiana? LA. Louis.
It's Louisiana.
Siana. Okay, thank you, Candice. Okay. All right, so you can see I found 178 data set. And you can, go through it to see which one you need. And also when you click on anything, for example, here, I didn't study this very carefully, but you can see where you can download the data. Okay, so you can see here, download data and sources. Maybe click here. Okay, and you can see who shared the data. You can see here, URL, that is from EPA. That is from EPA. Okay, if this is not the data you want, you actually can directly go to EPA, try to find the data from there. Okay, so that is how I, mess around, try to find all sorts of clue to find the data source. Okay, so that is some, useful links. I share that with you here and some tips. Any questions? Okay, and another thing, I don't want you to, run into that rabbit hole, but sometimes you probably have to. So like Candice asked me earlier, well, can we find the data outside US? Okay, because she wants to map out, for example, the typhoon impact in in South Korea. Okay, earlier in September, right, Candice? And
yeah, it was like a week and a half ago or something like that.
Right. Okay, but for the outside country, other foreign countries where you can find the data, I would suggest you go to ArcGIS online first. Okay, that is a repository for the data set. Anyone over the globe, anyone can contribute. You probably remember one practical Thursday, I just accidentally, searched in ArcGIS online. There's a lot of data from Germany, from, Peru pop up, right? So search ArcGIS online. That is one go-to place. Okay. You could also go to Leading Atlas of the World. This one it's a smaller data set, but you have a higher quality data. Okay, but start with ArcGIS Online. Okay, and sometimes you probably need to go to some literature. You find some literature. If they use any spatial data, they must cite the data in their the reference list. So you can use that as a clue to try to trace back where they can download the data. Okay, so that is for foreign countries. Okay. All right, okay, that's great. Okay, and if you really cannot find it, let me know. Jean somehow have this magic. No, I don't have the magic. I just search a lot, and Google, they can remember where you search, right? And your preference. And sometimes, some web page I can search, I can get the result, but you cannot get. So definitely stay close with me, keep me posted on your project. Okay. Bottom line is, I don't want you to stuck at any place. Okay. When you feel stuck, you're stuck, and you don't know what to do, email me, send me message. Okay. All right. Clear all the drawings. Let me see the chat. Present. Thank you. Okay. All right, then we download the data. Okay, let me share with you my folder. Okay. Here. Okay. Do you see my folder, guys, by the way? Yes? Okay, good. So that's teaching, fall, GIS20. I have this project data. Okay, keep your data organized. Here's a tip for you. Okay, stay calm and keep your They come and keep your data organized. Don't just save that somewhere you cannot find it later. Okay. All right, so this is my data. Okay, and you can see, well, some format like this oil and gas fields, that is in a zipped file. So if you don't know, just quickly how to unzip. Okay, so I have this 7-zip. Okay, you can just use 7-zip, or if you don't have it, you can extract all. Okay, but you cannot use any data layer if they still zipped in ArcPro. Okay, so that is the data I downloaded already. Okay, then I want to launch ArcPro. Okay, this time let me use ArcPro as an example. Okay, as an example. So you can see when you first open ArcPro, here is you see the earlier projects, right? Here is another thing. I want to show you how to appropriately set up Pro and project. Okay, I want to show you this. It sounds very simple, but if you don't be careful, that will create a lot of issues later on. Okay, so this is one thing. So you can see first, let me show you something I didn't set up my project appropriately. So you can see this one. I basically use the default setting. I click on map or catalog. I just keep clicking. I didn't change anything. So you can see here. I don't have an appropriate name. Okay, every time you want to name your project appropriately, because later you're going to have a lot of the maps and projects. Okay, name it. Number 2 is you want to change this location. Let me pin. You don't want to pin. Okay. Oh, and you can see. Let me go here. Project number 2. If you can read my screen on my screen, you can see the path, right? Do you see the path? Let me hover over here. It's on the C drive, user, GOLI, OneDrive, documents, or something, blah, blah, blah. That is a default path name, your path name on your computer. I want you, every time you change that to a location, okay, to a location, So for example, let's start a new one. Okay, let's start new one. I click on the map. You have this pop up. Okay, so you can see by default, it starts here, right? Okay, I want you to change that. How to change it? Click on this. Okay, so browse to your computer. Let's go to teaching, fall 20 demos. Okay, and you want to have a new folder called projects. Okay, final project. Okay, here is a tip, guys. Don't use space. You can see here, I don't use space between final and projects. That is one thing very weird in ArcPro. They don't like space. Sometimes the tool, the analysis could fail because you have a space. So never use space. I usually just use, uppercase, lowercase to differentiate that different words. Okay, so final projects, I want to save my project into this folder. Okay, and click OK. So you can see, you can change the path, the location, and then you want to name it appropriately. Okay, that is, LA oil. And don't use this. Don't use those special sign and, or, slash or hyphen even. Okay, so try to avoid those, signs or symbols. Okay, so let's use oil and gas. Okay, project. All right, so if in this folder you have multiple projects, okay, for example, later I may help some of you work on your project, then you want to create a separate folder, each one folder for one project. Okay, So here, let me create a new folder for this project. Okay, let's click OK. Okay, so that is how to set it up. Okay, why you want this? Why you want this? Let me clear the drawings. Because when you go to view, okay, when you go to view, you open this catalog pane or catalog view. Okay, either one is the same. Okay, so you are going to open the ARC catalog, which is like a manager for your data set. So you can see if you go to database, guys, database, you automatically have this GDB. GDB stands for Geo Database. Okay, so from now on, you don't have to worry about change data path. Okay, the path for your data for any analysis results or your the data analysis results. So this will be your default location to save the data. Okay, so you did once and you're good for your project. Okay, and also here you can also access to your folders. You can see this is my folders for my project. But if you want to link to other folders, you can see I cannot see other folders here, right? Just this one. You can right click on the folder to create a folder connection. Okay, basically you are telling Arc Pro where I can find the data. Okay, for my project, this working space, where are my ingredients? Okay, it's in the fridge, it's in the pantry, right? You can add a folder connection. So let's add a folder connection. You can see teaching fall 20 project data, right? I want to link to this folder. Okay, to this folder. So you stop here and click OK. Okay, so you can see now you have your default folder. You also have your outside folder, external folder. Okay, is that clear, guys? Right click on the folder and go to add folder connection. Okay, all right, then you're good. You're good. Okay, and remember here the catalog is in the view. Okay, in the view. All right, so let's go to the map. Let's go to the map, okay? And well, then let's add in the data, okay? So I'm so curious. We are so curious about what? About oil fields. Where are they, right? We download that data set, it should be. Oh, let me show you the data set look like. Okay, sorry, it should be here, okay? So you can see earlier we went to this website and we see this data, right? All right, okay, so this is how they share the data, okay? They have this description, which is metadata. We learned that in week 1 or week 2, right? And down here, you can see you have the columns in this data set. You know, in vector data model, how you organize attribute data in a table, right? In a table. So those basically are the columns. You have the attribute information. So for each well in LA, you have, you know, I don't know, this may be a number, API, lease name, well number, well status, is open, is, you know, idle, or it's, you know, retired, okay? And type, oil and gas or other things, right? And operator company, and so on. You have 23 columns about each well, okay? And you also have this table view, okay? Table view. And when they use this platform, you can create a visualization already, okay, where things are, but we won't do this today, okay? And where to download the data, you can see on the top, you have this export, okay? When you click on it, you can see you have so many formats. And if you see this word, shapefile, that is what you want. It's GIS ready, GIS ready. So you want to download something called shapefile, or you can download something called geodatabase. Okay, geodatabase. Sometimes they put the data in one geodatabase. And in the database, you basically organize different layers as this, as feature class, feature classes. Okay, feature classes. That is a different name for your shapefile. But for feature class, they live in geodatabase. They cannot live in a normal folder. Okay, next week we're going to talk about it. All right, so those are the GIS software ready, the data layer. Well, what if you don't have it? Okay, for example, let me show you another one, the school. Okay, for example, I want to download this private school data. Okay, so you can see down here, let's see. Yeah, it's in Excel, right? This private school. Right, list of private school. Okay, click on this one and you can see it's just a table, right? When I click on this export options, I can choose, you know, I want to use all the columns, but I can only export as Excel or text, right? I don't have that. Well, this could also work as long as, guys, you have these. Let me make it a little bit larger. If your spreadsheet here, voila, have longitude and latitude. Do you see that? Okay, voila, have, you know, streets, addresses, and state. Okay, those location information, you can still use it. Okay, if you are lucky, we are lucky to have this longitude and latitude, you actually can create point features based on this. Okay, point features based on this. We could create feature class from XY table, okay, or XY table to points. Okay, let me see. It's called, should be called XY to points or something later. I cannot remember that clear, but you will see that in App Pro. Okay, but for this one, guys, if you just have the address, you have zip, you have, you know, city, like a normal address you use in your life. Well, there's another tool you could use called geocoding. U.S. Census Bureau have their geocoding service. UCLA also have the service. There are many online free geocoding service available. Okay, search for them, and you can use those service. You can turn those street address to location. Okay, App Pro also have this service, but that is not free. That will consume your credits. Okay, so try to use the free resource. Recommend one is U.S. Census Bureau. Okay, but one thing you should keep in mind to search for their template. Okay, you need to put your address in certain template using certain format so that they can convert the address to coordinates appropriately. Okay, so that's another thing I want to highlight. Okay. Questions? Let me pause.
Since you mentioned geocoding, it reminded me of a question in one of the Q&A discussion boards about whether or not we should consider address data to be geo.
We consider, you mean we consider address data as a location data or not, right?
As geodata.
As geodata, yes, that's still geodata.
All right, thanks.
Okay, so this is one thing. Okay, let me clear my drawings. Okay, then let's go back to Arc Pro. Okay, so you can see I can add the data now. Okay, so you can see I have my project data, or let me show you through folders, through computer. You always do this way, right? Let me show you a quick way. Let's go to database, not database, folder here. Because I have this folder connection, you can see that's my data, right? Open it, and I want to count some locations. I have this data. You can see that directly from the website. I still have a very bad name for this data set, but in the shapefile, okay? Well, you can just drag and drop, guys. Okay, I cannot drag and drop here. Okay, anyways, let's click OK. All right, see guys, this is our data, the oil fields. Let me move our things around. Okay, so this is our oil fields, and you can, change the symbology, right click to symbology. Now it's single symbol. For example, I want to categorize, right? I want to show different status, for example. Let's see, status, okay? And you can see you have active, you have canceled, idle, new, plugged, and unknown, okay? I want to show where the active one. Click on that. You can go to, don't go to gallery, you go to properties. And here you can change to a, red, okay? And make them larger, like this, crazy larger. And you can see those are the active one, okay? Those are the active, the oil fields, okay? But if you just want to show those active one, there's another trick you can do is to go to this data layer, right click on that, go to properties, okay? And you will have this definition query, okay? Go to properties, go to definition query. You can build a definition query, okay? So you can see, click on this, new definition query. You go to status. Where's my status? Oh, here, okay? Is equal to, right? Or include the values if you want to map out active, idle, or something, right? Okay, and you have your value here. And you hit apply, okay? And you just have those active oil fields, okay? So this is just for show, okay? You just hide other data layers, but those are the active one. Those are the active one. Okay, you can see, the cover city, this area have a lot of, Kenneth Park, yes. And also here is where? Here is Venice, right? Here's a Venice. And this part, okay? They probably talk about this part, okay? And you can see, okay, this is Long Beach, okay? All right, okay, so here's the thing. I have this data, super excited about it, but looks weird, Okay, so let me add another data layer. Oh, project data, folders, let's see. Yeah, here, this is census tracts. Okay, I downloaded from US Census Bureau. All right, it's coming. Okay, so you can see it's unlike the normal map for LA. You feel LA gets stretched, right? Gets stretched. That is the coordinates. The problem about the coordinates. Okay, so let's check it. Okay, let's first check the oil fields first. Okay, right click on it, and then let's go to properties. Okay, and this time let's go to source. source, okay, for a data layer, and you have this spatial reference. Spatial reference. So if you expand it, you can see. Do you see something familiar? Annotate, annotate. Okay. Geographic coordinate system, which is WGS 1984, right? You are still using a 3D coordinate system in this data layer, but your map, the map you're making with ArcPro is a 2D, right? So that's why you have the distortion, okay? And you can see you have datum, is WGS 1984, you have spheroid, you have so many settings here, okay? So this is one. Let me check another one. It's always a good practice when you pull the data in, check the coordinate system for your project, because later we are going to do the spatial analysis. I recommend you change, you project the coordinate system of your data layers to 2D coordinate system. Don't just use 3D, longitude and latitude, okay? Promise me you do this, okay? And let me close this, clear my drawings. Then let's check this census tract. Okay, right click on it, go to properties. Okay, we are in the source, this tab, and then you go to spatial reference. Okay, and guys, here is the thing. For this one, I still just have geographic coordinates, 3D, but you can see I have a different 3D, different datum, right? You can see here, my datum is NAD 1983 for my census tract, okay? And you have this different datum called North American datum, and my reference ellipsoid is this one, right? Okay, sometimes you also have, you know, an older version, local ellipsoid. Local datum is North American 1927, okay, which will be a little bit off, okay, if you compare those two data sets, okay. Well, let me pull in another data I played with yesterday, our schools, okay, our schools. So let me add my data, folders, project the data, okay, schools. I forgot, maybe it's here. Process the data. No, it's this one. Yes, I have my private school. Okay, you can see. Oh, I need to show you this. Okay, you download the data. You download data, which is CSV. Let's see, Excel. This one. Okay, so this one is when I go to Department of Education, I just download this data as an Excel. Okay, you need to first, guys, open that data set. So you can see here, which one? This one. Okay, open this data set. Let me open with another software. This is another version. Close window. Nope. Okay, let me open that with Excel because I think most of you have Excel. Okay. Why? It's protected. Maybe I opened that already. Okay, anyways, let me just open it in this way. Okay, so you can see this directly from that website. You cannot use it. You cannot use it at this point, okay? So why? Because what you input into GIS software have to be just the table. So you cannot have the title here, okay? You cannot have those, you know, filters or something. How to change that, okay? You click on the first cell you want to input. You go to the very last one, okay? Hold the shift key, okay, on your keyboard, okay? Oh, sorry, I lost it. Anyways, let me show you. Okay, for example, I just want to import these. Okay, click on the first cell you want to import and click on the last one. Hold your shift key. So you can see you can select them all. And then you copy and make a new file. Okay, spreadsheets. New blank one. Okay, copy here only with values. Don't include any format. Okay, don't include any format. So you will see like this. Okay, and later I want you to save it as a format called CSV, comma delimited file, comma delimited file, or comma separate values. Okay, use this one. This will clean the format, the weird format, you know, in Excel, in XLS, some, you know, different, you know, format. Save that as CSV. Then you will have a plain data file. Okay, just like you're reading in module number 2, we want those plain files. Okay, so first you cannot have title. Yeah, the title for the entire table, but you have to have name for each column. Okay, don't get me wrong. And then you save that as CSV file. So you can see, let's use CSV. You can see here, I have my private school over here. Okay, I'm a private school here. And here, I also have public school, right? I also have public school. Okay, save that as this, okay? Then let me cancel this. Okay. Let me close this. Nope. Okay, nope. Okay, then in ArcPro, you can add them in, okay? You can add them in. Okay, so let's add our private first for CSV, right? Okay, so here, let's see. Okay. All right, you don't see any data pop up. You don't see any GIS data layer pop up, right? Because it's just a table. It's just a table, okay? All right, no worries. We can turn this table because we have longitude and latitude, remember? We can use one tool in your analysis. So let's go to this tool on the top, analysis, okay? Okay. Yeah, don't use emoji. Don't use emoji, guys. Okay, in the chat box. Okay, analysis. Okay, and go to tools. This is your toolbox. Okay, and then you search for XY table to point. This one. Okay, XY table to point. This one. Okay, and you can see this one, if you have longitude and latitude coordinate system ready in your columns, in your table, you can use this one to turn the table to points, okay? So your input table will be the CSV, okay? And you can see, this is how you save your time, okay? It automatically saves in your LA, oil and gas project demonstration, the GDB. You don't have to worry. You don't have to change that every time. Okay, this is the default geodatabase. Okay, and then X field, X should be your longitude. Should be your longitude. Okay, Y should be your latitude. But Jane, I don't see that here. I don't see that here. Why? Because that data you need to double check. Okay, so let's close it. Let's open it in ArcPro. Okay, you can see why we don't have it. All right. Okay, so let's see. Let's open it. Okay, and you have so many columns. Save your time here. Click on this hamburger on the upper right corner, and you can switch to the fields view. Fields view. Okay, so here. Okay, so if you go to longitude and latitude, let's sort it. Okay, longitude and latitude. So you can see, guys, what's the data format for these? Text, right? It's a string. It's not a value. So that's why ArcPro cannot identify, oh, there's a value I can use. It's a string. I know you see it's a number. We are smarter than stupid computer. Okay, but here computer cannot recognize those text. Okay, so what you can do is to add a new data, new columns. So if you scroll all the way down, why they cannot, let's see, go to table. They don't ask me to go to data. Let's see, they don't allow me to add the data somehow. Okay, so I have the add data. Oh, this table is read only. That's weird. I think I opened it. Oh, I opened it somewhere? No. It should be. You should be able to add a new data, but set it up as you know, the double the value, the data format, and then you can copy that over. Okay, in that case, you can have the number. Okay, you can have the number. Then you can convert X and Y to table. Okay, to points. Okay, let me show you another one. Remove. Let me add another data. Okay, let me leave this field view. Okay, let's go back to map. Add the data, folders. Okay, and let me search for this private school. Okay, for public school, there's another issue. Some of them, they don't have longitude and latitude. Okay, so before you do this, make sure you take a look at your data. Okay, see whether you have, you know, wrong data or not in your table set. Okay, so here, let me add this one. Let's see. Open it. Okay, so you can see. Let me switch to the field view. Okay, and sort it. Longitude and latitude. So you can see here, my longitude and latitude, they're double, right? Double, this data type. This is the number, numeric. Then you can use this to convert your table to points. So let's try. Okay, no. Okay, let me close this one. Okay, so insert, no, sorry, analysis, tools, all right, and then XY, table to point. Okay, all right, and then you can see this time it's my public school. Okay, and then you can see longitude and latitude automatically popped in, right? Okay, remember your X should be your longitude, your Y should be your latitude. You don't have to worry about Z field, that is for your vertical data. For in this case, we don't have that information, just leave it as blank. And you can see coordinate system, because you're using longitude and latitude, and those locations, the longitude and latitude, probably they do the geocoding with WGS 1984. You just use it, okay? You just use it, WGS 1984. And then you can see that will save in your geodatabase, no problem at all. Okay, you don't have to worry. And then you can just run. Okay, it's ready. And close it. Those are the public schools. Those are the public schools in LA. Okay, and then later you can use those. Let me turn off this one. Okay, you can use this data set to do your analysis. Okay, maybe you can move that down below the wells. Okay, you can see those schools, those schools, those schools, they're very close to those active oil fields. Okay, but here is another thing. Jing, I have all these data layers, right? At this point, it's an issue already. My map is stretched. I want to change the coordinate system, the projection for the entire map. I just want to map things out. I don't want to do any analysis. Okay, how I change the display. That is the last Thursday, projection on the fly, right? So let me review on that. You go to map, that is for display. So you click on, right click on this, go to properties, okay, go to properties, and then you go to coordinate systems, okay? And here you can see you have layers, right? This layer is the first layer. You import it into your project. So ArcPro just, by default, use this one, okay? You could switch to other layers if you want, okay? But here, I want a projected one. I want state plan. I know LA is 4 or 5, right? The zone 4 or 5. So I can search state plan, okay? And you go to, I want to use a projected one, okay? And state plan, and you need to pick one datum, right? Okay, so let's use US feet. I don't want to use 27, this is the old one. US feet, this one, okay? And you go to California 405, right? You see something familiar, right? This is 405, okay? And you click OK. You can see now, let's turn on this one. You won't see LA. This area is super weird. You have this, like normal appearance of your map for LA, right? Your map is not, stretched anymore, okay? But you can see I didn't change anything about my data layers, right? But later, if you want to do analysis, you must project them to certain projected coordinate system. The tool you are going to use, again, is in this analysis, okay? Tools. The tool is called project. Okay, so you can see in the data management toolset, okay, project spatial data from one coordinate system to another. Okay, click on this one. Okay, so for example, I want to project my school. Okay, public school, table 2 points. Okay, and output name should be, let's change that to a, delete this one. You can have underscore, by the way. Okay, public school. I should name it as LA. School, LA. Okay, long latitude ready. Okay, then you can choose any coordinate system you want. Okay, if you want to use, a state plan coordinate system for your map, go ahead to click on this one. Okay, go ahead to click on this one. This will be just the state plan, or you have other data layers you want to use. Okay, but in this case, let's first use this state plan one. Okay, let's adopt the current map, the projection. Okay, and you can see immediately, guys, this is the transformation. Remember our public school, when we do geocoding, we use WGS 1984, right? We use WGS 1984, but the map is based on what? NAD 1983, right? We just changed it, and then you can see you have this geographic transformation. ArcPro is smart enough to pick the right one for you, okay? But don't feel weird if you see this pop up. If you know which algorithm you want to use, you actually can expand this list to choose the one you want to use, but you don't have to, okay? ArcPro will just pick one for you, okay? Pick one for you. So you can see, let me name it as NAD 1983, okay? NAD 1983. So that's my, target data, okay? So let's keep run. You basically have another, same data layer, okay? Still displayed as it is. Nothing changed on your map. You just have one more layers up here, but it's NAD 1983, okay? NAD 1983. So I can remove this one, okay? And let's be, be brave, okay? Be brave. Oh, I need to bring that back. Last time, actually, after you left, Javi asked me this question. Jean, can you show us if we have different, data, for example, NAD27 versus NAD 83, how much difference do we have, right? How much difference do we have? Let me show you. Let me show you, okay? So for example, this one is NAD 1983. Right? Okay, let's do that analysis again. Project. Okay, project. Let's do the same data, which is public CA, 2 points. This one. Okay, remember this one still have the WGS 1984, right? Let's change that. Let's change the name. Public school LA. Not ready, but NAD 27. Okay, we still use the state plan, but we want to use a different reference ellipsoid, which is a local data. Okay, so output coordinate system, we don't have that here. Let's click on this globe. Okay, so let's search state plan. Okay, but go to project, go to here. We want to use this, NAD 27. Okay, and let's go to California 405. Same thing. Okay, and let's see. Actually, at that time, LA should be 407. Let's use 405. I'm not sure. And you can see you have this transformation, right? You have this transformation for your geographic reference, okay? All right, let's hit run. Okay, then I can remove this data layer, okay? Same thing, if you see this is NAD 27. Let's open the attribute table. Oh, wrong place. Okay, open attribute table. Okay, let me switch to the fields view. Okay, so you don't have, the longitude and latitude measured using NAD 27, right? This is, the original longitude and latitude you have. Okay, how to check the information using that data. Okay, so here is another thing, another tool you can use. You can go to analysis. Okay, go to tools. Okay, and then let's go to toolboxes. Let's browse there, and then you have your data management tools. Okay, you have your features. Okay, and then you can see, voila, you have your add XY coordinates. This actually will add the coordinates using the data layer, the coordinate system and projection to calculate each spot, what's the location, What's the longitude and latitude? What's the, UTM, X and Y? I should say E and N, right? East and north, okay? So let's use this one, okay? Then you can see you won't create any new data layer. You basically just add 2 columns in your attribute table, which is the new longitude and latitude in this case, okay, to your data set, okay? So let's go here, browse NAD27, okay? And let's click run. Okay, complete, very fast, okay? All right, so let's open the data table. Okay, so let's see. Oh, let's go to the fields wheel. Okay, so you can see, guys, you have those 2 new fields, point X and point Y. Okay, point X and point Y. Point X basically is your new longitude. Point Y is your new latitude. Okay, so let's compare them with our old, based on WGS 1984, right? The value. So let's select those 2 fields. Let's move it all the way up, side by side, with our X and Y. Okay, let's put it here. Okay, so you can see I move them together. And then don't forget to save on the top, guys. Let me highlight here. Saved it, and then you can see. Okay, otherwise you won't see. So let's save it. Okay, and then you can close this fields wheel. Okay, and this one will refresh, and you can see here. Okay. Oh, sorry. This is the coordinate system of your state plan. It's not longitude and latitude. Okay, it's not longitude and latitude for this one. Okay, so you can see that is your state plan coordinate system, the points. Okay, the points. Let me do another one. Okay, let me do another one. So I want to bring my data back. Data. Okay, folders. This one. Okay. All right, so this one. Okay, this one is what I did yesterday. Okay, click OK. All right. Okay, so that is the public school. Let's see. Yes. Okay, and you can see, let's check the coordinate system here. Source. You can see this spatial reference. I just use NAD27. Okay, I didn't convert it to a projected coordinate system. Okay, so let's check the number here. Okay, all right, let's open it. Okay, points X and point Y. I think I did it. Yes. Okay, so you can see this is my point X and point Y. By the way, you can redo this, you can reuse this tool. They basically update the number for you. So let's redo that. Should be called public school CA, right? Public school CA. Yeah, this one. Okay, this one. And then let's run. Okay, so I basically update the very last field, okay? And let me move that side by side with longitude and latitude here. Longitude and latitude, okay. Let's move them together. Maybe I move those 2. Okay, let's move that down to the very end. Save it. Okay. And close it. Okay, so this is the one I changed just this data. Okay, you just have the datum NAD27. You don't project it. Okay, so you can see here, I compare X and Y. Side by side. Okay, let me bring that up. Okay. No, I want you to be here, stay. Okay, here we go. Okay, this is a larger data. Okay, and let's go data table. Let's go here. Okay, so you can see, guys, for those 4 columns, and I highlighted no account. Okay, anyways, let me bring that here. Okay, so you can see for point X, that is my using the new NAD one. Okay, let me annotate those 2 columns, NAD 27. Okay, those 2 columns using WGS 1984. Okay, so you can see what's the difference for this one. For the first one, that is X and longitude. Looks same? No, right? That is 1286, and this is 127686. For Y, you also have this difference. Later, actually, you can create another, data layer. Just use different coordinates to see their difference. Don't just ignore those smaller ones. The Earth is large. If you, plot those points up, they actually could have, several meters the difference. Okay, so that is, you are using different data set, the datum, you will end up with different numbers in your coordinates. So that is, remember at the very beginning of this lecture, this module's lecture, I show you the Dodger Stadium, right? If you use different map, you use different datum, you will have different coordinates. Okay, yeah, so that is, I think that's it for today, too many things. So let me summarize. Number 1, today we talked about, thank you, Gabby. We talked about how to come up with a spatial question. Okay, remember what kind of question you can ask using GIS, where things are, and what is the pattern, right? And how different things related to each other over geographic space. For example, oil and fields, how that impact people, right? And school children, all right? And then you have this question. Where to find the data, okay? You can go to county level, the geodatabase. So some, keyword you can search for, okay? GIS data portal, for example, LA County GIS data portal, or LA City GIS hub, okay? Like something like this. If you want to search for certain data layer, okay, you can also put your keyword shape files, okay, or geodatabase, or feature class. Those actually a term specifically in GIS, or you can just add one more thing, GIS, okay, GIS data like this, okay? So that is the searching tips if you use Google, okay? If you use Google, you can also go to, the state government, the different department, and also data.gov, okay? So, yeah, so this is how you find the data. But when you find the data on that website, you want to find the button called download, right? Download, and search for the format ready to use in your GIS software, which is shapefile, geodatabase, feature class, right? Those type of things. And if you cannot find it, if you only can download the spreadsheet, you must have some spatial information that can be longitude and latitude, X and Y. That's good, that's perfect. But if you just have street address or zip code or census tract, the number, you can still use it. You just need to do, a few more steps to either geocoding or table join. I show you in the earlier module. Okay, so this is how you find the data. But for your spreadsheet, one thing keep in mind, before you do anything about it, after downloading, open it, see whether there's any weird format, right? Any missing data. Try to know your data, and later that will save you a lot of trouble. Okay? Yeah, okay. And, change the projection, on the fly, change the projection permanently. And today we learned something new, add X and Y points, coordinates to your data layer. Okay, so there's another thing. Okay, all right, so I hope too much information. Let me stop here, zip. Keep me posted on your project. From now, you must start thinking your project. Okay, don't wait. We are now halfway, and then we need at least 4 weeks to finish our project. Okay, so over the weekend, keep me posted. Okay, any questions? Good. Thank you, everyone. Let me stop recording. Let me stop share. Stop recording. Okay.